New Zealand continued their winning streak in the ongoing Cricket World Cup with a convincing 99-run victory over Netherlands in Hyderabad. Chasing a target of 323, the Netherlands were bowled out for 223 in 46.3 overs. Santner was the star performer, securing a 5-wicket haul for the New Zealand. Matt Henry also contributed with a 3-wicket haul to seal the win. Colin Ackerman was the top scorer for the Dutch with 69 runs of 73 balls. In their innings, New Zealand posted a comparative total of 322 in 50 overs. Will Young led the way with a solid 70 of 80 deliveries, while Tom Latham and Rachin, of course, Rachin, you must know, is a combination name between Sachin and Rahul Dravid. Yes, he lived up to that expectation with a back-to-back second 50 of the tournament. Notched up half-century for Netherlands, Van der Merwe, Paul van Macken and Aryan Darash. Aryan Dutt picked up 2 wickets. Coming back in today's match, it's a double-header today, scheduled in the first encounter. Defending champions England, who lost early in the first opener, will face Bangladesh, followed by a match between Pakistan and Sri Lanka in Hyderabad. The England versus Bangladesh match will be held at Dharamshala. England is aiming to bounce back after a 9-wicket loss to New Zealand. Joe Root's 77 and Joss Butler's 43 helped England reach a respectable 282 for 9. Bowlers struggle to take their wickets. However, it will go on and on and on. However, we'll shift our focus with 2 of the eminent guests that are joined. A former international player. I'd like to go to Chris Mufufu, who's our in-house guest, one of the amazing bowlers Zimbabwe has produced. Chris, if you can hear us, good morning, if you can hear us. My first question to you, Chris, how is the World Cup looking to you right now? I mean, when you look at the World Cup, how are the things shaping up right now? Chris.
At the time, for me, I'm looking forward to this one. We've got England against Bangladesh. I'm sure everyone will know that England wants to bounce back and be on the mark once again. Losing the first game to New Zealand, I'm sure that would have hurt a little bit, you know, being the world champions, the current world champions. But it's going to be a great day today. Looking forward to it. And we've got on the other side, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. When you look at the other side, Sri Lanka will definitely look to bounce back. So it's one of those days where you're looking forward to these double headers, and I'm definitely rooting for the ones that have lost their first few games, which is England and Sri Lanka. So that will make it a bit more interesting.
Chris, I want to ask you, is 350 now going to be a par score for the teams in this World Cup? Earlier it was 250, 275 in the previous decade. But now, do you think 350 is going to be the most competitive total? Your views?
Yeah, definitely. I said it early on that these days you're not safe in these wickets, in these conditions, on how wickets have panned out to be. So I'll say you're looking to score 320. I know 350 we can say pass score, but I'll say 320 has to be the pass score, because you see how guys are chasing these totals and how wickets have become. So I'll say 320, not 350. 320 for me, that would be the pass score for these games. But as we have seen it, it makes it a little bit more interesting also to see these big chases being done very well.
Well, one interesting thing occurred. Rachin is named after Rahul Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar. Do you find this talent a great prospect for future?
About Rachin, I think I said it to you, Sunil, a few days ago, that for me, he is the prospect for New Zealand. He's looking like he's been playing this game for quite a long time, but he's still a very young man who's, you know, looking forward to being the best in the world. And that name, Rachin, something that I heard a couple of days ago, how it came out from, you know, having an idol like Rahul Dravid, the wall of India, and you've got the Sachin, the master. When you combine that, surely you've got a deadly weapon. So it's not something that is shocking to see this man is living up to these great names, Sachin and Rahul. He's got the solid defense. He's got the master of attacking. When you mix that, for me, that's, like I said, that's quite an amazing mixture. And I see him playing for New Zealand for a long time, and I see him doing quite well, because he's someone who can come in and give you something with the ball also at the same time. So he's also not a bad fielder when you look at him. So he's got all the package that you can look forward to seeing for quite a long time. So for this World Cup, I still think he's one of those guys that New Zealand, he will be the dark horse of the team, that he comes in there, he does the special things, and I'm seeing him doing well for New Zealand for quite a long time.
Well, you've named India as the strongest team. Do you think Netherlands is the lowest, the weakest team of this tournament? What are your views? Do you think they'll spring up a surprise?
Yeah, I have talked about India and said India, for me, are the strongest. Not only the strongest, I feel like they have the balance when it comes to this World Cup. You're talking about, you've got a man like Ravichandran Ashwin. He's a spinner, but he can still give you something with the bat. You talk about Jadu. Jadu is amazing with the bat. He's amazing with the ball. When you talk about this balance, that's why I say they have the right team to go on and win the World Cup. For me, they are the strong. You're looking even at the bowling. You've got someone like Hardik Pandya who come in and bowl you about 7 or 8 overs, or even 10 if it means that, and he will come in and still score runs. So when you look at them, for me, they have that strong lineup. Yes, we talk about now coming to my other team, the Netherlands. For me, it's always a learning curve on them. I still think they have a good team. Like I said, I still believe they'll get on top of one of the big teams before this World Cup finishes, and I still believe that there is some few upsets that are around the corner. So watch out for Netherlands. I know they lost the game to the strong team that is New Zealand. New Zealand, who have won 2 out of 2. So I still believe Netherlands, they will give one of the big teams a run for their money.
Yes, they'll give a run for the money to one of the big teams and also cause an upset. Well, joining me in the studio is Dev Tyagi, a podcaster and a journalist, cricket journalist. Dev, what do you make of the match today? You've got a double header. I think the excitement has begun. What are your views on it?
No, I think absolutely. The second occasion only so far in this 2023 ODI World Cup when we have a double header. England take on Bangladesh at the Dharamshala. And then there is at Hyderabad, the Pakistan taking over Sri Lanka. But let me just first direct your attention to the Pakistan versus Sri Lanka stats and some very telling numbers that suggest that Pakistan are the strong favourites. So of the 156 overall ODIs that the two have squared against each other, Pakistan have won 92, unless I'm very much mistaken. In the World Cup contest, Pakistan clearly seemed to have their nose ahead over the Sri Lankan team, because they won 7 out of the 8 contests that they've played, of course, one resulting in a no result. And then most recently, Pakistan have won 11 of the 14 one-dayers that they've played against Sri Lanka.
11 of the 14?
Yep, most recently. And of course, cliched as it may sound, the man who's often compared, given his cover drive, to none other than the great Virat Kohli, Babar Azam holds the key. He has some compelling records against Sri Lanka. He averages 58, north of 50 rather, against Sri Lanka, and he's made a few centuries out there, and he would be very keen to pounce back because he missed out on the opening game.
Right.
Shifting my attention to the other game which is happening in the morning at Dharamshala, the picturesque Dharamshala that is. So Joss Butler will have a few things to sort out. It's not about his batting form per se, but at this point in time, his team finds themselves to be the bottom dwellers. Not the greatest place to be at, of course, it's just been one game, but they would be very, very careful and watchful in terms of executing their plans against Bangladesh, who really should not be taken lightly. They are, of course, being led by Shakib, a brilliant, once-in-a-generation player. And his numbers against England are rather compelling.
Right.
He has taken 20 wickets from 17 games, made lots of runs, and is the standout player.
Right. On that note, we are joined by an international West Indian player, former West Indies player, which talks to us. Which team seems to be the clear favourite, Rad, Emrit?
I personally think that there's no clear favourite. I think that whoever bats well will obviously win the game. I know both sides have very good bowling. There's fast bowlers in the Pakistan team, very good. Spinners, on the other hand, in Sri Lanka is also equally good. I think whoever bats well is going to win the game. I don't think there's no clear favorite, but I'm still going to back Pakistan.
You're backing Pakistan. Let's shift our focus to the informed skipper of Sri Lanka, Shanaka. What are your views on Shanaka the skipper, Shanaka the batter, Shanaka the player?
This is also a very big game for Dasum Shanaka. I think if he does well, obviously Sri Lanka will do well. He has been one of their mainstay. He's been, the leader. He definitely needs to lead from in front today. If he does well, again, it will determine how well does Sri Lanka go. But I think, it all depends on his ability to score runs and bat through that middle phase, and also to end the innings. So it all depends on how well does he go.
Well, we've spoken about Shanaka. Now it's time to talk about the great Babar Azam, as fans call him. Do you think he can get back amongst runs in today's match?
Babar Azam definitely needs to get in the runs today. I think Pakistan win clearly depends on how well does he go. I think if he can get amongst the runs, I think it will set up a very interesting battle between Sri Lanka and New Zealand. So it all depends on how well does Babar Azam goes. If he set the tone, I think Pakistan will be in with a good chance.
Well, absolutely. This program, the USP of our program is we get diverse views from all across the world. Of course, joining us is an acclaimed captain of the UAE women's team. We welcome Chaya Mughal, who happens to speak a little bit of Hindi and lots of insights into cricket. What will be Butler's mindset entering this game, Chaya, if you can hear us?
Well, Butler has made a name for his explosive skill at the top of the batting, and his ability to score aggressively on the spinning wickets is something that makes him a very special batter. Jos Butler will definitely have a major role to perform in this game. He looked good in the last game as well, scoring 42 ball, 43 runs, but unfortunately got out at the wrong time. In considering this as an important game, I think Jos Butler will definitely be looking forward to take his team to victory.
But look, let's look at Bangladesh. Don't you think so? They are relying heavily on Shakib, considering that he's been performing leading from the front from the word go. But is too much reliance on Shakib there is going to be the Waterloo?
Well, I don't really think that the Tigers should be totally relying on Shakib Hassan, who is playing his 5th World Cup.
That's right.
Bangladesh, as we all know, that they are very competitive side for any team against any format of the game. And the youngsters like Najmul Shantu, who is the highest run scorer for his team, has been very impressive.
Right.
The pace attack led by Mustafizur is another advantage to their team.
Yes.
However, I feel their real strength lies in their spin bowling attack, which can tackle any batsman on the helpful Indian surfaces. I think Bangladesh should focus on each game and take it step by step towards their ultimate goal.
Interesting point, spin attack. Dave, your views, the discussion now is revolving around spinners. Suddenly, the 150 kilometers per hour has gone out of the window. The
Right.
speedster, the Yorkers have gone out. I think it's now turning out to be a spin win kind of a World Cup. Do you agree to that?
Absolutely. Spin takes you to the win. And I think besides Shakib, there are other people also who've actually risen in the Bangladeshi ranks in the cricket. We don't have to talk about Test cricket where somebody like Taijul Islam has been brilliant, but Mehdi is the pick of the bowlers, and he has an amazing ability to control the guile and even the flight, and sometimes it just takes batsmen by sheer surprise.
Right.
However, besides the spin talent that the Bangladesh team possesses, and we don't need to be introduced to their sparkling numbers, there's one bowling strength that they have in particular which England should watch out against, and I would say that is Taskin Ahmed, the medium fast bowler. And I know
Why is that so? I mean,
he has dismissed Jos Butler, one of the finest batsmen of our generation, on 3 occasions out of the 6 that he's played. So Butler really needs to resolve that particular issue. His numbers are sparkling in the World Cup, He has some massive skyscrapers where you talk about his strike rate. But against Taskin Ahmed, he needs to sort out his game.
Well, when you look at the head-to-head on your screen right now, of course, England has an edge. But when it comes to the World Cup, when it comes to the bigger stage, these statistics really go out of the window and you perform on that particular day. Let's take a step back. What do you think? Who's going to be favourite in match 1? And then subsequently, we'll talk about the match 2.
So match 1, clearly England are going to be the favourites. However,
Right.
they should just plan what they have to do. They should just think about what they do. Of course, the underlying factor, the essence is the baseball cricket. But I'm talking about that. One of the clutch players, and clutch is actually...
Hold on to that baseball theory introduced by England, but executed well by South Africans. Do you agree to that?
Absolutely. It was raining runs in the hot and humid Delhi, and that was such a welcome reprieve of sorts. 428 runs, 3 brilliant, glorious centuries by the Protea batters, something that hitherto hadn't happened. Before Arun Jaitley Stadium just became a cracker, the mecca of cricket on that particular day. But David Malan, since you were asking about England, is going to be the clutch player.
He's had a fantastic run this year. Just take the fans through the run that he has had, David Malan.
North of 600 runs of his 1,060 ODI runs in his career have actually come this year. And his strike rate, overall ODI perspective wise, is 95. However, here's the catch. His strike rate against Bangladesh is 75.
What about the spinners? Do you have some stats and data that we can throw into his strike rate against the spinners?
Hasn't really played a lot many games against Bangladesh, but definitely he would be taking into fact his most recent century against Bangladesh, which came at the Sher-e-Bangla Stadium in their territory, where he was countering Mehdi and Shakib, so he must derive some confidence from that. For me, he's the key player today.
What about the Pakistan game?
Massive game again, massive game against...
Isn't it a rerun of the Asian Cup?
Yes, and I think there are some scores to settle, and Sri Lanka definitely find themselves in a bit of a backseat, but never discount them. Shanaka has been in form, and of course he was, despite facing that massive barrage of runs, he still came up with a fighting captain's knock, a brilliant half century. One of the most, could that be one of the most underappreciated Sri Lankan innings at the end of the World Cup? That's a discussion for another day. But for today, they will really have to find a way to curb Babar, who's going to just come, I think, all guns blazing. He had a very indifferent start to the campaign. 5 runs of, I think, 18 deliveries, unless I'm very much mistaken. So Babar is going to be the key player. And of course, Rizwan and others being in form. Sri Lanka have a lot of work on their hands.
Well, absolutely. Sri Lanka there and England look out to be clear favourites for this for the tournament today.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.